Hello, everybody. I'm Toby Shifsky. I'm the Executive Director of Kaplan Real Estate Education. And today is our Real Expert presentation. We have a very special guest. It's our 2022 Crystal Ball. Basically, what do we think is going to happen this year? And our guest is none other than Aimee Hanson. I'm going to go ahead and bring Aimee in. I think you all may have seen Aimee before. Aimee Hanson is a real estate broker in the Twin Cities in Minnesota for over 27 years and is a leading instructor for Kaplan Real Estate Education. So if you've ever had one of Aimee's classes, go ahead and put a text chat in the chat box and say, yes, I have. You know that Aimee literally used to be a rock star on stage. And so and you are in our classrooms. So her extensive real estate experience makes her one of Real Experts, rare returning guests. So we don't always have everybody back, but Aimee, you are back. And as well as a favorite in the national classroom as a premier instructor, her knowledge inspires her to write dynamic classes and create a learning experience parallel to no other. As a real estate broker, Aimee, right, for Real Broker LLC, and leader within companies she has led and worked with, she teaches in every aspect of the varied roles she competently fills. She brings us the best in what a real estate professional is today. And I can tell you, I've known Aimee for, well, I'm not going to say how long, but Aimee, you are extraordinary in the classroom. You're extraordinary as a resource for the real estate industry. And we are excited to have you here today.
Toby, you're getting me all weepy with all your nice words. And then I see all these comments from people. I'm not joking. You got me weepy with what you're saying. Thank you so much. I mean, I appreciate Kaplan, just as much as anything else in my life. So, and you. So, and I think we've worked together for about 16 or 17 years now, Toby.
Don't say it so loud. We seem so old. You started when you were 12. I started a little older.
I did. No, it was actually 11.
Yeah. So today, guys, this is a follow-up. I don't know if you saw last year when we did the Crystal Ball for 2021, but you know what? We went through a little list and Aimee hit it out of the park with almost exactly what happened in 2021. We talked about lifestyle changes. We talked about inventory shortages. We talked about the impact of housing shortages and what that was going to mean, and then the role that technology was going to play. And so you are back because our people, they want to know what's in the crystal ball for 2022. Are we coming out of COVID? Is COVID here for the next 5 years? You know, the Spanish flu, Aimee, was around for 8 years. It impacted people's lives. So how is that going to impact us? How does it impact our marketplace? And we're going to talk about all of that today. So I'm excited to get started, but I have one question for our participants here. Everybody, you're going to get a chance to play along. I want to ask a poll question. I try to do this at the beginning of all of our webinars. I want to know who's in the audience, Aimee, so we can kind of gauge our responses, because I know we'll have people who've been in the business as long as we have, right? 20 plus years. And I know that we'll have some people who maybe aren't even licensed yet, but let's get a gauge of who's actually on today. So I'm going to ask a poll question.
Oh, good. I love this.
All right. So here we go. I'm going to open up the poll question. Everybody get ready with your mouse to click on an answer. And the very first question is, how long have you been licensed in real estate? You got a couple answers there you can pick from, right? More than 10 years, 5 to 10 years, less than 5 years, or heck, I'm not even licensed yet, but I will.
Wow.
Look at this. We get a lot of people who are sitting in the licensing classes right now who are excited about a career in real estate, and they come to this. And so,
hello, everybody that's thinking about getting licensed. That's pretty exciting. I didn't realize.
Absolutely. In fact, I can tell you that the more interested they are in the news about the industry, the more likely you are to actually complete your licensing education and be successful on your exam. So I'm glad you're here. I'll tell you what, there's a ginormous amount of people who are actually not even licensed yet that are in this call, and they are the overwhelming percentage of the crowd. And kudos to all of you. I could almost say that if you're here, you are going to be successful on completing your courses and passing your exam. And that's what we see. The more invested you are in your career before you even get your education done, the more likely you are to succeed. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll, and I'm going to show everybody who we got. So let's go ahead and share the results. I got 13% of the people more than 10 years. Bravo. Thank you. We're going to ask you to participate in some of this too. Give us some of your thoughts of what's happening in the chat as we're going to go through a series of questions with Aimee, and we're going to get her professional opinion. Love for you, grizzled, wise, and veterans, to be able to join in and play along. 5 to 10 years. Good for you. We call you growth agents, right? You guys are like, you've made it. You've figured it out. You've got a business. Love that. Less than 5 years, right? You are on a trend, and you are here because education is important to you. Love that. And then I'm not even licensed yet. Almost 70% of the people on this call are not even licensed yet. Bravo. All right.
That's just fantastic too, because Toby, we talk about, I know you're probably going to get to it about, my crystal ball kind of vision of stuff, but technology is a big deal. And so many of these younger people, that are getting into the business, they're just incredible wealth to us who have been around longer. Me, someone who's been around for almost 30 years, who, has a hard time figuring out Google Meet. I mean, bring it on, guys. Yeah. We want you, right?
Love it. Well, in fact, we're going to find kind of a bit of the role that technology is playing today in your crystal ball, right? Because I think it's important. I know you work with a company that technology is very important. And so I see it. I see it in the industry also. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So everybody understand, we're going to go pretty fast. These are long topics, but you're going to get the big golden nuggets out of where Aimee's seeing this going. I'm going to throw in some of my opinion also, but we're going to go quick. You get to play along. And here's what it is. First question. What is your approach to being successful in today's real estate environment, Aimee? What do you need to do today to be successful and through 2022?
And beyond. Well, here's the thing, Toby. I mean, just like I kind of said earlier, but I'm having a hard time figuring out Google Meet or whatever. I mean, because of what's happened with this pandemic, I mean, it's a blessing and a curse in many ways, right? But what it has done is it's kind of propelled all of us into technology, into different types of meeting with people, whether it be Zoom or Google or different types of education, like we do on your platform here with Kaplan. The way we do showings, virtual showings, and agents going through and the buyer not even being there. And here's the thing. I don't think any of that's leaving. I mean, I believe we have become a Jetsons world, and guess what? We're not leaving.
Yeah.
Technology, in my opinion, will be something that, if you're up to date on it, that will catapult you into a different place when it comes to being of value to your clients and of value to just consumers out there, having knowledge of real estate. I think technology is going to be a big deal.
I heard you say something really important. Communication. Communication has changed. I know it's changed in our business. I know it's changed in the way we deliver education. We did a lot of in-person classroom. We do almost all live online now, where we used to do in-person. We do asynchronous online also, but any of our live is live online in this kind of a platform, and we're not looking back. And in fact, our enrollments are strengthening. And so let me ask you this. Well, in fact, let's do this. I got a question for all of our guests today, our visitors and our attendees. I'm going to ask another poll question. It has to do with communication, and it has to do with their clients. All right, so get ready, everybody. I'm going to pull up a poll question. You're going to get a chance to play along, and I'll share the results. By the way, they're all anonymous. Nobody's going to see who you are on what your answers are. So please, please, please play along. All right, so here's our next question, our poll question. Are you meeting your clients with online video calls before meeting them in person?
Ooh, this is a good one, Toby.
Right? So your initial meeting.
Oh, look at
these are rolling in. They're rolling in. Now I get some of you, all of you people in the licensing course, you're not meeting clients yet. But for those of you who are in the business, you know what? I probably should have asked that a little different. I probably should have said, hey, if you're not licensed yet, then don't answer. But how
about this? Let's change, because I'm curious about this, Toby.
Okay.
Let's change this real quick if we can.
Okay.
Are you meeting your clients with online video calls if you're in the business, or when you get in the business, do you plan to?
Oh, All right. Can you guys still change your answers? I don't know. Can somebody?
I don't know.
Yeah, so let's do that. Ooh, they're changing. Everything's rolling.
That's
a great addition. All right. So everybody play along, right? Are you meeting with your clients if you're already in the business, or do you plan to meet with them first in online video calls before meeting them in person? All right. That's
quite a bit there.
That's a great adjustment. Oh my gosh. Okay. We've totally changed the results. I'm going to present these results in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Ending the poll. How about this? Absolutely is almost 40%. 38.86 say, I don't even go to meet them at coffee. I don't go to their house. I'm going to meet them in a video call first to meet the new clients. That's what I'm going to do. That's that was not the case a year ago.
It was not.
No. And I think you're right. I don't think we're going back.
No, I don't think so either. We have all these, and here's the other thing. When it comes to like communication and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, and Hollywood jumped on the bandwagon right away during the lockdown, and we had the pandemic and everything. And last year, I think when I did the crystal ball, I talked about, getting creative, like on your social media and stuff. Right. Well, I mean, all of a sudden, people that had the resources with the cameras and the sound and all this stuff, they were presenting stuff on social media that was just grabbing people. Right.
Right on.
We have to do the same thing. That's another thing that's going to change in our business, that no longer can you just put up the picture of, look, I sold a house with somebody holding a sold sign in front of it and going, I closed today. Everybody closed today in the real estate. I mean, if you haven't had a closing, then you're not in the business. But I mean, you've got to put something captivating out there on video, on this social media stuff, or people are just going to swipe right by it.
So I look at this, and just as an example, Aimee, I'm going to point out something to all of our attendees today. Look at Aimee's backdrop. I guarantee you, and we didn't talk about this, but I guarantee you composed this backdrop because you're doing video and you need to look smart and sassy and sharp, all those things. Am I right?
Well, Toby, you are correct. And I put in lighting, like studio lighting that shines on me. That's big. It's not just like your little, thing that people put on their phone.
Right.
And my A is strategically placed on there. And I upgraded my bandwidth to my house right away when before everybody started doing it, because you guys had gotten in contact with me saying we're going online. We need to have good, I made a bunch of changes so that I could easily present myself in this, what I call now my studio at home.
Got it.
Yep.
And I don't think we're going backwards. So if you're looking at this and you're going, I'm going to be successful in real estate. I mean, 40% of our people said their first meeting is online in an environment, and it better look good. It can't look like a shambles behind you. I mean, compose it. Light. Mike, look at this. I got a microphone the size of, look at that thing. It's like, but that's a part of it, right?
And I have a special camera. I don't use the camera on my computer. I have a separate camera altogether that's up here.
Right on. All right, let's move on. Technology is important, everybody. Embrace it, take it. We're not going backwards. Look good. One way or the other. You don't have to be, a supermodel, but you got to look professional. Right. You got to look like, you got your stuff together. Nobody's going to always look as good as Aimee looks on camera.
Come on, Toby.
All right. I got next question. Are there anticipated changes in inventory? I'm just going to ask you that. Are there anticipated changes in inventory? Because I know last year we were at a spot where there was listing shortages. In fact, housing shortages, different than listing, housing shortages. Where are we at today?
Well, speaking of housing shortages, we all know that housing shortages is a problem throughout the country. Affordable housing, it continues to be a problem throughout the country. And hopefully the table of powers are working harder and harder at that, but that's another story altogether. But, everyone was locked down, Toby, and I don't think we talked about this last year, but what happened is that there were so many people that were thinking about buying a house and then they put it on hold, right?
Right.
Or thinking about selling and they put it on hold. And then not only that, there was this whole group of people that were living in communal living, whether it be an apartment or a condominium or something like that, where they go, I'm not doing that anymore, so we're going to go out and buy a house. The interest rates are low. And so when all that happened and all of a sudden we were released, so to speak, we had just an overabundance of buyers, that wasn't normal. I mean, low interest rates always bring out buy. It always, brings out.
And they're
buyers.
still low, right? I mean, less than 3.5%.
Yeah, you're definitely below 3.5%. But every report I read from Fannie, Freddie, whoever it might be, the realtors, realtor.com, whoever you go to for predictions, is that they're going to remain low. I mean, they expect that they might increase a little bit, but they're going to remain low for the next couple years anyway.
Right.
And so I think we'll still be in a seller's market. However, I don't think we're going to have this desperation craziness that we had when people got out of.
So let's talk about that. So let me just make sure we wrap up anticipated inventory shortages. Do you feel that we're still short on listings now?
Yeah, definitely, no question about it.
Definitely short on listings. So still a seller's market, right? In fact, that leads me into like behaviors and attitudes. So we got a lot of people going, well, what is the mood of sellers and buyers? What is their attitude towards buying a home or selling a home, or what comes after that, their next step? How has that changed? How do you see that? How do you see that affecting 2022?
Well, I mean, it goes back to what I said, where there was this desperation. And honestly, this, Toby, and any new agents coming in the industry and people that have been around for a long time, our job as real estate professionals, we have many different hats that we wear, but one of them is to control desperation in your client, okay? Because we have to take out the emotions. And so, we have a responsibility of people in this industry to kind of take a deep breath and slow things down too. But I think that there's plenty of people out there now that I've got clients that have said, we're going to sell and we're going to rent for a while, Aimee, and I've had the conversation with them, the interest rates are going to go up. This is, your payment could go up, you're not going to have as much buying power, yada, yada, yada. And they go, we don't care. We got plenty of buying power. We're just going to take our money right now in the seller's market. We're going to wait till things slow down. Once some people start doing that, others will start doing that. And so, I know that buyers out there are frustrated with multiple offers on everything, and they're giving up, right? I know that they're uncomfortable when they're not, they feel like they're not able to have an inspection on a home. And I don't blame them. As us in the industry, we have to start saying, you deserve an inspection on a house. We have to put the skids to something a little bit.
Have you seen, you talked about this desperation, and you can feel it, buyers, right?
Oh, you can totally
I've written 27 offers and missed out on all. This is last year, right?
Yep.
And when they do get a home,
4 months ago for me.
Yeah. Okay. So even at the end of last year, and so they would get a home on a contract and they would waive the home inspection.
Yeah,
right?
Crazy.
We're taking it all on. Crazy desperation. Are we seeing more patience? Is that coming from the buyers, or do you think the industry is driving a little more patience and due diligence?
Well, I would hope, for the sake of what I've invested my life in, which is this industry, that my lights just did something weird. We can drive that a little bit for people. In other words, we can understand the importance of things like a home inspection from a seller standpoint and from a buyer standpoint, that people don't waive those, and so we can educate people on what the right thing to do is. The more that we can put the word out there about things that are important in a real estate transaction, things that are needed to protect our principal, things that we should absolutely advocate for, the more we do that as an industry, the more the industry will just form around it, because we are the industry, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally makes sense. I had somebody tell me yesterday, I was meeting with another professional, an instructor for us, who said, there's another thing that's changed since COVID, and it was about attitudes, and it was about the attitude of agents. And he said, listen, I'll tell you right now, nobody sees a home unless we understand where the financing is coming from. If it's either cash, is it bona fide, is it verified, or they are fully approved. He says, we're not putting anybody in a car, we're not putting anybody in a showing unless they have all of their financing in line with full letter documentation all the way through. Yeah. Are you seeing that same thing? He's from California, and he says nobody sees a home unless they're all the way through the process. Nobody's even getting in a car, getting an appointment to see anything unless they're all the way through. Are you seeing that?
I think that what he's speaking to is when you're going out to represent a buyer, you know, or work with a buyer.
Correct.
I know this, and on a listing, if someone asks to see the home, it's your responsibility to show it, you know, because you're in Minnesota, you have seller representation. Sure. So we're not really in any position to start asking for that when we represent the seller. Right. You know,
representing a buyer, though.
Representing the buyer. Here's the deal. We're exhausted. I mean, we're tired. And it's been a lot of work on a buyer's side of doing things. And so for an agent's own protection and for any seller's protection or anybody, you know, before you start carting people around or, you know, opening doors for people and bringing them into houses, you should be sure they can buy one. You know, right? I think that's a reasonable request.
Yeah. He said it like it was like done.
I can understand that.
Nothing.
I can understand
Nobody
that.
Nobody sees anything. No, I don't lift a finger for anybody unless they got it done. So that might be something about an attitude. And I just wanted to put it back on the agent attitude, which is, listen, I'm, like you said, we're tired. We've been chasing, we're hunting, we're fighting, we're doing all that stuff. All right. So let's go in to the next thing. How have, preferences changed? We talked a little bit last year, kind of laid out what we thought.
Toby, my crystal ball from last year came true.
It did.
It did. I'll give you the back of the recording. Here's the thing. I said, here's what I think is going to happen with preferences. And here's what's happened with preferences. People want more space. They want more alone space. They want designated office space. They want meditation space. They want, they want closed off rooms more than they do an openness like they wanted in the past. I'm seeing it all over the place where they're walking into a house and my clients go, well, where would we put the home office? It's almost becoming more important than the kitchen because it's a huge part of their life. And they're now working from home forever because their offices have closed down. So, right. And I predicted it, that's going to be a big deal. Preferences on floor plans, I think, have changed big time.
Interesting. Well, I know, I think the information backs you up. The home builders associations, they talk about the remodels and what's going into homes, and it is chopping up pieces to give separate work areas, separate areas for kids, separate areas for activities. I
was just going to note real quick, for Crystal Ball for 2022 agents out there, when you're talking with your staging companies and stuff, this old fashioned kind of antiquated dining room area, formal dining room area that's in the house, start staging that as a home office instead, staging and presenting the listing in your videos or in your pictures or whatever to have it meet the needs of what people are looking for is important. So start staging things differently to accommodate for personal space, office space, perhaps computer space for the kids, for any kind of education or whatever it might be.
Interesting. There's a golden nugget for you, right? Yeah. So in other words, a home office space more important than a dining room these days.
Well, I think it is. And again, I'm just the crystal ball person, but
yeah. Well, you're sticking your neck out, but that's an opinion probably driven by, 20 plus years of experience. And I got to trust
watching what's going on, and writing classes for you guys and seeing trends and everything. So
right on. Well, excellent. Let me ask you this. I still want to talk about, housing and housing shortage. So have other housing shortage issues impacted property ownership, and if so, like how? When I talk about housing shortage, I mean, literally, we don't have enough units for the people who want them, which tends to drive up demand, which tends to drive up price, which all that kind of stuff. Yeah. What do you think?
I'm not sure I understand. One more time.
Yeah. Have other housing shortage issues impacted property ownership? In other words, are you seeing that there's a housing shortage that people who want to own can't? And is that driving some of that decision about renting versus owning? And is it actually driving some of the decisions about people? I think you said earlier that we're seeing a move, people saying, listen, I'm in a CIC community and I don't want to be in there anymore. Mm-hmm. So how is a housing shortage kind of affecting ownership right now?
Well, here's where it might affect ownership, people that own investment property. Because, I'm on all these groups on Facebook, these forums and stuff, and you can't find a short-term rental to save your life. Mm-hmm. So like what people are looking for is like, I don't want to sign a year lease anymore. I want to sign a 6-month lease. And there's a lot of people that won't take those, or I need a 3-month lease because I'm in the process of looking for a home and there's nothing available for them. That also speaks to their desperation. Like, we don't have any place to live. We got
to go somewhere.
Yeah. And it's so,
yeah.
I don't know if I answered your question or not, but
it's a great point. It's a great point. Short-term rentals, I get it. It's a stress point on the economy. As a matter of fact, I got a little question because one of our upcoming topics, we're going to talk about the housing shortage. And so I wanted to see if everybody could play along and answer a quick poll for us, if you would. And it has to do with a housing shortage. And let me go ahead and just pull this up.
If Barbara has a good point there.
All right. So here we go. Are you experiencing a housing shortage in your? So this isn't like a listing shortage, which may be driving a housing, the housing shortage would be driving a listing shortage, but are you seeing a housing shortage in your area? And there's a couple different answers for you to choose from there. It goes everything from, wow.
I love that the last answer is getting zero. That'd be hardly any.
There we go. We have plenty of homes and listings, but we need more buyers in my area.
Wow.
That's the last answer, right? We have a nice balance of homes, sellers, and buyers in my area. Kind of a balanced market. We're doing pretty good. We have enough homes in our area, but we need more sellers to list. And then the number, one answer right now, I can tell you, is a crazy shortage of homes has created a listing shortage in my area. All right. We're going to give a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go. We're going to end the poll. And I'm going to share the results. How about this? So 60% of the people said, we have a crazy shortage of homes. And that is driving a listing shortage in our area. Look at it. 22% say we have enough homes in area, but we need more sellers to list. We can't get them off the schneid, as they say, to get them to move. Only 10%, maybe 11% of the people said that we have a nice balance in our area. We're doing okay. And then 6%. I think it's pretty clear here that
I'm kind of wondering where those people are from, but
yeah. Well, maybe they're ahead of the game. Maybe they're in some place where we got it going on. Boy, if you answered, that we have a balanced area, maybe you could just chat in the thing, like where that area is. That would be interesting to see. So, because I think, what we're seeing is a housing shortage. Millennials moving in to the home ownership pipeline. Interest rates so low that it makes sense to own rather than rent, right? And so we're seeing all those pressures coming into it.
Just very quickly, Cherie has how do you see this housing shortage affecting the military and their families? I mean, with the military and their families, it's affecting them just as much as it's affecting some other people. But here's the thing. I mean, if I can just put a plug out there for the military people, that VA loans are so solid. When you get a VA approval, just make sure you look at it. People have been going, oh, well, that's VA, so it's not as good as conventional. I'm telling you, to get approval on VA and have them issue a letter, they've checked all kinds of stuff. So look at those as being solid loans, guys.
Got it. Dana asks a question. She says, for short-term rentals, is it that owners prefer long-term rentals over short-term rentals, or that short-term rentals are just getting gobbled up?
I think it's both. But, being someone that has had investment properties, you're always more comfortable with a long-term rental.
Yeah.
Just because it's taken care of,
Yeah. Well, there's one thing, but with the short-term rental, with the the VRBO, Airbnb, yep. There's a business model that is running profitably for a lot of places.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and so that is a real deal. I know
they are getting gobbled up. You can't find them, in various areas.
I had a home rented for a vacation coming up, and I just got notified. Your agreement is canceled. That's whoa. Wait, what are you talking about? Home is sold to a new owner. Oh. So when a home's sold,
they took advantage of it being of the seller's market.
Well, that was it. And so now I'm out of a house. I got to find a house. So Richard Breslin, really interesting question. I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole on here, though. Unfortunately, Breslin, Richard's chat in the text chat.
He's responding. Making revenue sharing real estate commissions voluntary rather than it would be voluntary if you weren't with a company that didn't offer it. That's how I can look at it. If you're going to a company that has rev share, then that's what you want.
Well, I think he's thinking more of co-oping, which is a deal. But
okay,
yeah. So it's a big
We don't talk commissions on here.
That's what I said. I'm not going to touch that one.
Yeah.
But great question. Different venue. Well, I tell you what. Any last thoughts, crystal ball? What should we know about 22? And when we look back at the end of 2022, are we going to say, "Gosh, it was better than 2021. I can't believe it." Or are we going to say, "Nah, it didn't quite live up to 2021"? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think it's going to be what it is. There'll be a lot of people in this industry, Toby, that would say 2021 was not the most exceptional year in real estate ever. There will be a lot of people out there that their opinion might be that it hurt us because of it wasn't stabilized. It was craziness. So it just depends. But 2022, what I can tell you is this, and we'll see next year when we come back if it's anything close to what I said. If everybody in this industry takes the time to sit back and represent their clients and do what's best for the consumer and give them the best advice that protects them the best, we can stabilize things. What we all want and need is a stabilized market. There's no question about it.
Got it. Great advice.
Let's work towards that, right? And let's work towards keeping our cool and doing our job the way we should.
Right on. That's a great place to end it. Aimee, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for being here.
I really appreciate you guys at Kaplan. You're a big part of my life. So
absolutely. Well, thank you. And thank you to everybody for coming today.
Showing up.
Take care and have a great day.
Take care.